Hello and welcome to the Brantley Bank Coaches Show hosted by Vaughn Forest Church, where we talk all things Pike Road Patriots football with head football coach Ed Rigby. My name is Adam Bishop. I serve as the pastor at Vaughn Forest Church and the host of our weekly Brantley Bank Coaches Show. And today, before we talk to head coach Ed Rigby about Pike Road Patriots football, we have a special guest in our studio today. We have high school principal Andrea Manus joining us today. So Principal Manus, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Opportunity.
This is awesome. It's great for us to get to talk about all things Pike Road High School, not just Pike Road football. So Principal Manus, this is your first year at Pike Road High School, and you came from Carroll of Ozark. Now, my family and I, we've lived in Pike Road for 3 years, love this community. I'm curious just to hear from you. What really drew you not just to obviously the school, but also to the community of Pike Road?
That's an excellent question. So I will tell you, I've been in education now for almost 20 years. The past 12 years have been down in Ozark, which is nestled in the Wiregrass area. And most recently, the past couple of years, Pike Road has been a pretty repetitive competitor for us at Carroll in regards to athletics. So I've been up here. I was able to see firsthand what the community support was like. Have heard excellent things about the school system, or had heard excellent things. Alan and I have two kids that are in school ourselves, and so anytime we would think about where might be somewhere that we would want to go, the school system's really important, not for our jobs, but for our kids as well.
Right.
So just super excited about being here. The support has already been magnificent, not just for me, but for my entire family. So everybody has embraced us, and it's been such a great transition.
That's awesome. And anytime you make a transition, you're right. It's not just the professional component, it's also the personal side. So seeing an opportunity that was also a great fit for your kids. And
absolutely.
Now they're at elementary and intermediate school. Did I get that right?
Yes,
one at each?
Yes. Sam is in kindergarten at the elementary school, and then my husband is actually on the football staff as well, but he also is one of the lead learners at the elementary school. And then my daughter Emma is in 4th grade at the intermediate school.
That's awesome, because I have a first grader at the elementary school, Henry, and he told me the first week of school, he's like, Dad, we have a new PE coach. And I'm now connecting the dots. And so
yes,
that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So he's there at the elementary school, but then also helping coach football, you said?
Yes, he is.
Wow, he's got a lot on his plate.
He does. He does. We're a very busy family. I have told people from the beginning, we are a classic 2 feet in family. So our entire lives revolve around whatever school system we're a part of, and we're so excited that's a part of Pike Road Schools.
That's awesome. Now, have you guys been able to get settled in, kind of get all the moves, all the things that go with that?
Yes, we have. We are so excited. We purchased a home in Pike Road 2 weeks ago.
Great.
So we moved 2 weeks ago into our permanent home, and we are really enjoying neighborhood life. That's something that's different for us. So we'd been living in the country in Dale County, and so our kids absolutely love it up here. They've made lots of friends. We're so blessed because there's lots of Pike Road Schools folks that live in our neighborhood.
Great.
And so our kids are making friends, and it's been great.
And that's always such a big thing when you move to a new community. You want your kids to make friends. It sounds like that's been a great transition for you guys.
It has.
So we're already, it's hard to believe, 4 games into our high school football season. We're getting ready to play again Friday night for our 5th season. So talk a little bit about football and as it pertains to your leadership and all things with school. I know we're looking forward to homecoming.
Yes.
That's just a few weeks away, and I know you've got to be excited about that.
We are, yes. So, I tell people all the time, the thing that made me want to be an educator is that I absolutely loved my high school experience. I was very involved in leadership roles. When I was in high school, I was a cheerleader, and probably my greatest influencer to be an educator was my high school cheerleading coach and math teacher. But I want to have an opportunity to create those culture and climate building things at Pike Road High School, and I think homecoming is the first big thing that kids can participate in this year. Obviously, it's October 7th. We're playing Russell County. We have a homecoming committee who has been planning events. Leadership from all stakeholder groups are part of that committee, but we're super excited. We've established our theme for homecoming this year, so streaming to a victory.
Okay, I like that.
Our SGA student representatives were the ones who selected that, and then we started the process yesterday of each class, 7 through 12, selecting their own Netflix series, show, movie.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes, so SGA developed a list of 15 different Netflix shows. Seniors got first dibs yesterday, and they selected theirs. Juniors are voting today on their theme. Tomorrow, the sophomores will vote, and it'll go all the way down through 7th grade.
So I've got a 7th grader. So by the time it gets to them, it'll be the list will have been picked over a little bit.
Yes, there'll be maybe 6 or 7 options.
Great.
But it's all a part of student voice and giving them an opportunity to, have some choice in the fun things they get to do as high school students.
You guys do such a great job at the school. I got to tell you, just as from the perspective of a parent, our oldest was getting ready to move up to the 7th grade, and it was a little overwhelming. He's going to be on a campus with 11th and 12th graders. How's that going to work? It's been phenomenal. He loves it. And I know that's a reflection of y'all's leadership. That's got to take some very super intentional focus to make that a good experience for both the high school students and the junior high students on campus.
Yeah, that's a great point. So I will tell you, when I first started sort of being recruited for this position, and I came up and they said, okay, it's junior high and high school on the same campus. And it's like 2 separate staffs. So you have a full administrative staff for junior high, full for the high school, separate counselors, separate secretaries. And I said, how does that work? So I guess everybody knows, too, our junior high principal is new this year as well, Miss Janice Stockman. I can't imagine having a better partner in crime. But we were actually joking the other day, and we're super excited to move to the new high school. But it's going to be really sad, too, that we're going to have to split up because we've kind of locked arms and do everything together as the Georgia Washington campus, which I think is just another piece of evidence that the community pride is so strong here, that it's a K through 12 thing. It's not a high school. It's not a junior high.
It really
is
the Pike Road school.
Absolutely.
It feels like one big family. You're absolutely right about that. Well, talk a little bit about academics. We talk a lot about football here, but we also are constantly reminded these are student athletes. One of the things I love about our school, and you see it on full display, and if you're listening to this show and you've never come to a Pike Road High School football game, you're missing out. One of the things you see beyond just great football is great support among our students. I see our student body section, they stay seated and they cheer for the band at halftime. They don't leave. The football team is for the band is for the football. And sometimes people forget, these kids are in classes together all day. They really are student athletes. And so many of our student athletes excel off the field in the classroom as well. So I'd love to talk a little bit about the academic side of Pike Road High School as well.
Absolutely. Gosh, that's my bread and butter right there. So, yes, kids are student athletes. And one thing I will say, I'll give a plug for Coach Rigby here, is that I know that is super important to him. So he spends time weekly going through the academic piece with the student athletes. He called just last week and said, hey, I need to get on your calendar. I've got a couple kids who are struggling. I'd like for me and you and this student to sit down and really go over their grades. Just overall, we've got some excellent students at Pike Road. Our academics are good. Are there areas for growth? Certainly so. The major accountability piece for high schools in the state of Alabama is the ACT. So our average ACT score last year was about an 8.5, 8.6. We're looking to improve that. Our goal is to make Pike Road High School one of the top 10 schools in the state of Alabama. And I think if we just take a few short years and make some minor tweaks, we will be there. Working on an ACT prep program to implement just this year.
That's great.
And see where that will help us go to the next level. Have a little teaser too. Tomorrow, the National Merit semifinalists will be announced. We may or may not have one at Pike Road High School.
Oh, that's exciting.
So we're super excited about that.
Absolutely.
Lots of great things. And the academics is so important. The lead learners, I would be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to do a shout out to them. Everybody knows there's been lots of leadership turnover at Pike Road High School. Our lead learners have been very resilient through that and are eager for an opportunity to really, invest in some rigorous opportunities to create for their students. And so I'm super pumped about the academic side of the high school.
That's awesome. And one last question. You mentioned earlier, moving to the new high school, and we know that's a few years down the road, but what does it mean to you from a leadership perspective to get to be a part of something kind of at the first season, the first stage? I mean, there's a legacy that's being built for decades through these Pike Road schools, and you get to be a part of that from early on. That's got to be super rewarding as a leader.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. Building the legacy is super exciting. It's one of the things that drew my family up to Pike Road. This is only the 8th year of our entire school system, and we've already got multiple state championships in athletics. We've had national merit, finalists, semifinalists. So that is very exciting. Talking about moving into the high school, there's the goal of moving in 2025. So this year's 9th grade students hopefully will get to spend their senior year in the new high school.
Awesome.
Being a part of that is just absolutely amazing.
That's great. Well, Principal Maness, thank you so much for spending some time with us today, and we hope to have you back soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it.
Well, Coach Rigby, it's good to see you. Enjoyed having Principal Maness on earlier, but it's fun for us to get to sit down and talk all things Pike Road Patriots football. Got a big game Friday night.
Big game. It's the next game.
The next game. That's always the biggest game. The next game against Eufaula. We're going to talk about that. But before we do, hey, let's recap a little bit. Last week, a little different. Played on a Thursday night. Good competition, region game. Sidney Lanier High School. We were able to walk away with a victory. Kind of what are some thoughts on that win from last week, Coach?
Well, it was a win. We tightened up on the penalty stuff a little bit. We did put the ball on the ground a couple times, which we won the turnover battle. They put the ball on the ground 5 times. Our defense, created 5 turnovers. And looking at our notes, our leading tackler last week was Max Seaman, who had 8 tackles. Buki, Jalen Jarrett, had 4 tackles for loss and a forced fumble because he was drilling and driving their center into the backfield. He was by himself establishing a new offensive line. And there's an old thing in football. If your D-line plays 1 yard on the other side of the offense, you win.
Yeah.
If your offensive line plays 1 yard on the other side of defense, you win.
That's good.
So he single-handedly was establishing, and it was creating a spear point in that defense, knock back in that offense that started, that downward spiral for them. And I know Malik had 2 sacks during the game. So defensively, that's what kind of kept the thing going. Them creating the turnovers, we were able to capitalize on some short fields. And then once halftime came, we came out from halftime, we're about to kick off, and all of a sudden those raindrops that are as big as quarters start hitting. Those cold drops where but I'm not going to show them it's cold.
Right.
Be tough.
Yeah, that's right.
And we had a good little rain shower there and some lightning in the distance that thankfully stayed away. And we ended the night, with a 35-21 victory. And it was a victory. It took us 2-0 in region. That's all that matters to us. We're working for week 11. We got to get enough of them region wins to get to week 11.
Right.
Then we'll conquer something else on that journey. But our offensive highlights. Anthony had another big night, created by the offensive line. Brendan Ayrton and Vyson Lang, they literally were crushing. I mean, it was just dominant once they got going in that second half. It was dominant what they were doing. And Anthony ended up with, 17 carries, 197 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But they were just mashing their side.
Right.
It was very impressive.
Right.
Very impressive. And again, they were playing 1 yard on the defensive side with our offensive line, and they did a phenomenal job. Jordan King had a 35-yard touchdown catch. I think we only attempted even one pass past the line of scrimmage. It was a touchdown. Hey, Caleb has some great stats there. It seems like every third pass he gets a touchdown.
It's felt like that for the last couple of games, whether it was Brendan a few weeks ago, and then obviously Anthony Rogers, 72 yards. So when Caleb, it's very efficient, and they usually result in touchdowns.
Yes, and we've got you pulled up so much because we're running so much.
That helps set that up.
Yes, it sets it up. And when we can see it and trigger it, and it creates a nice, easy pass where they're just wide open. And it's when you're on the offensive side of it, it's awesome. When the defense is looking around, who's guys with that? Who guys with that?
Right.
So that's a good thing. But we got the win. We got out of there. We got dinged up a little bit in 1 or 2 that may be back tomorrow, maybe not. Next week is our bye week, so we'll have a chance to continue to expand on everything we're doing. After this game, we'll be able to polish and sharpen some things, but we'll hopefully get some people back to almost 100% healthy. Yeah. That would be huge. Yeah. And going into that last final run of 5 games in a row, and 4 of those in a row obviously being regional opponents. And but hey, the task at hand is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock in Tiger Stadium in Eufaula, Alabama. And it's going to be a great game. They come into it 3-0. They're 3-0 with 3 good wins. They had a big win the other night versus Greenville, and I was there and got to see it since we played on Thursday night.
Okay.
So I got to see it firsthand and size them up. But your kids who are seniors, I've known them since 7th grade. So it's different in the fact that I know everything about them. Now, not everything they do offensive, defense. I don't mean that, but everything about the kids and the coaches. Because beyond, I think about 2 of those, they all had coached for me there. 3 of them. And then, far as them, they don't know anything about us. They don't. Their coaches don't know our kids. They've heard of Buki and know who Anthony is and that kind of stuff, but they don't know them.
Right.
They don't know. They hadn't been in the squat rack with them. They hadn't been out there on the field running them. They haven't coached them. They haven't. So that is one advantage. It's actually a very, very big advantage. It's Sun Tzu, the art of war, of knowing your enemy, like the back of your hand. He said it in a lot more eloquent words in his book, and all those centuries ago. But that's basically the synopsis: is knowing your enemy. Not that there are enemies, but in the sport of football,
right.
On Friday night at 7:00, from 7 to about 9:30. That's what it is. And but it's going to be a great game. Number one, weather's going to be awesome. Number two, it's a big stadium. And they will pack their side. Anytime you have, no matter at what level, the coach that was there that left, comes back. It's not that people are coming to see that guy. It's people are come see us beat that guy.
Right.
That's exactly what that is. And that stadium on their side, they've been pumping it on Facebook and all that, and it'll be packed, which they show up anyway. So, we've shown up really well on the road, whether it be Tuscaloosa or Crampton Bowl. So, hopefully our fans will leave early, because getting in there, it's a lot of places to park and all that in a big stadium. But getting in, there's one way in off of 431.
Okay.
And one way that's accessible off of 431. And that's Lake Drive, the main road coming in. So you need to leave early, from school to school. It's about 88 miles. It's an easy 2-lane drive through Union Springs, boom, 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 right out the back of our school.
Yep.
There, you're making one turn in Union Springs and boom, you're there. But it's going to be a great night for high school football. Adam, this is what it's all about. The game with Wetumpka, how everybody stayed there, how packed it was in that little stadium.
Yeah.
Which a side note on that, the new seats, which are about 1,500's worth, are being built as we speak. Should be done by Wednesday. Weather holds out. I go down there and talk with those guys every morning, and it's coming along. And
they look great.
It's going to be freaking awesome. And but it's going to be what high school football is all about. You have competition amongst two really good high school football teams. And and there's a backdrop, type thing there in the story, because I was there, and no way do I make it about me, because I don't. I'll even talk to our kids about it, because as far as they're concerned, when people bring it, my whole thing is, it's the most important game of your life. Why? It's like every Friday, because it's the next game. It's only guaranteed game you have. It is the next game, but it's going to be big crowd. Good teams. Their quarterback, Cotton, has a great arm, has a very live arm, throws the ball really, really well. And I know they'll go after us, with it. And it will, he can put the ball in the air. And when they're on. And it makes them very dangerous, where you can beat anybody. And, it's a game where defensively you have a guy who's a Under Armour, All-American team guy in Jan Pierre, Alabama commit, who will be the best edge guy that we see all year, and some good supporting cast with other folks. Their O-line, you got a big guy that's committed to Georgia Tech, Patrick Screws, and a phenomenal story in himself. So they've got some players, and they're very well coached. Jarrell has done a tremendous job with them. And I was glad to be part of each other's lives the last years, and to grow as friends. We talk all the time, and that's what I'm saying. It'll look like tomorrow night different than what me and him really are, and with a lot of those coaches. But it's what it's all about, and I'm excited. I'm excited just because I want our kids to be part of that environment, that atmosphere. And they've been part of that. They've been in big games, They've won a state championship, a lot of these kids. But to be in that environment on Friday nights, there's nothing like it. And Principal Manus said an important thing. She said, she really equates going in, or not equates, but I don't remember the exact words, but went into education off of an experience, how she enjoyed her high school career. I think anybody that really coaches and stays with it, or teaches and stays with it, that's probably an underlying factor. There was something about that phase of your life of growth that was special.
Right.
And there's nothing more special than those Friday nights and those big games.
Yeah.
And to, as an older person who's coached a long time and an educator, to get to keep reliving that at the level that it will be tomorrow night.
Yeah.
To remind you of being in high school is special. It is special. And again, you can go make $1 million in a business deal this afternoon. And I'd love to, by the way. But you can make $1 million, and you're not going to chest bump a kid, or see the joy or the excitement and the clapping and jumping up and down. As an adult, you won't do it if you make $1 million this afternoon.
Coach, I think a lot of people are ready to get in their car right now and crank it up and drive to this game. You got me fired up. I'm ready to go. So, hey, we're going to put that link up right now. Here's how you get your tickets, 7 p.m. You follow. And by the way, if you do make $1 million today, we still have some room for Pike Road Patriot football sponsors.
We've got a lot of room for sponsorships.
We can follow up with you about that, too.
We can talk to you all day about it.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, let me ask you a question, because this is a unique week, and I know I appreciate your humility. It's another game. It's not about you, and I've gotten to know you well enough to know that it would never be about you.
No.
But what I've also gotten to know about you is that you genuinely care about these young men beyond their high school football career, and you've been doing this for a long time. When do you think it'll hit you? Maybe after the game, maybe something on Saturday. These young men on both teams, Coach, you've invested your life into these young men. That's a unique thing for a coach to have that for both teams that are playing the game.
Yeah, and weirdly, this isn't the first time I've done this. And I tried to figure it up, and I did the other day. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I'm 5-0 going back against what places I coach. That doesn't mean nothing.
No
for
pressure,
tomorrow
Coach.
night. Yeah, tomorrow night. But I've done it before. And the thing is when because I still own a home there. My son moved into it, and I have no plans of right now of he's there and part of the community and sees Jarrell and goes out to eat. Goes out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's still friends.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's on to a new. This is a new chapter, obviously, and there was a reason, for moving, and one of the reasons, and I'm not trying to brown nose anybody because I don't think like that, and hopefully don't need that at this point in my life. But one of the reasons was principal maintenance.
Yeah.
The first time we had a conversation, and I was sitting down on my dock. We were talking. It was at night. And I was sitting down there listening to her. And when I hung up the phone, I'd call my wife. My wife was out of town recruiting or something. And I'm like, hey, just talk to the principal. She called me, blah, blah, blah. And I really like her. I like everything she had to say. And the first time I met her, kind of on the record, off the record, and we talked, you see sincerity in people. Mm-hmm. As a pastor, you've dealt with so many people and seen the emotional highs and lows of so many different individuals in their life that you can start to read people like an open book. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be weird, but I mean, you can see into them. Mm-hmm. You can see into them. Their sincerity, their heart. I better look into this. Right. I better check on it. You can start to pick up on things. And one of the things with her was the sincerity of, hey, it's like I said, we're all in.
Yeah.
Hey, and if you're coming here, it's going to be all in.
Yeah, both feet.
And she reminds me of, hey, all in, coach, all in. And where I'm kind of, well, we got to, all in, coach, don't want to hear it. And
I like it.
Yes, ma'am.
I like it.
And but there was a lot of great things about this, and because I wasn't looking, to leave or go anywhere. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that kind of thing. But the opportunity and some things for down the road as we get older and our kids are gone, of hey, this can help in personally in our life, me and my wife, we're her drive and this and that. It made sense in a lot of ways. So it was nothing there. But back to your original thing. It's awesome to because you put all those kids together, the 60 or something we're going to bring, and the kids out there, and you've had a part in every one of them's lives in some small way, shape, or form, and they're a piece of you. Everybody you run across and deal with, they're part of you in your memory for the rest of your life, and so that's the excitement of it, and it's so funny because it's like talking to just even the trainer Carla, the trainer this morning about something and getting her on board with our trainer of, hey, don't bring ice, don't bring water. We got everything right there and all that. And, coach knows where it's at. We won't help you with it. He knows where the keys are. That kind of thing. Just go there and get it.
Right.
Get what you need. Type thing. So, but that's unique and special, and be a lot of hugs when it's over. And but I can't wait to get it on. But between 7:00 and when that baby's done, that game is over. There ain't no hugs going down.
That's right.
And it's game on. And the kids we've had a really, really, really good week of practice. It was the kind of practice you want. And our kids, I don't know if they understand this. I tried to explain it yesterday when we were done. Tuesday we went out and offense, man, we were banging. We were banging. Boom, that pops. Boy, that fit up right. Boy, yesterday all of a sudden defense says, we're going to knock y'all back.
Okay, that's
and
good.
it was boom, 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 boom. So offensively, we're like, it wasn't a great day. And I'm like, if it was a great day every day, I'd worry about our defense.
Right.
We are getting better, but, they bow back up and boom, they're giving it to us. Now, both sides it's pretty equal at the end of the day when you look at film, but it was a yin and a yang. It was a tit for tat. It was a, hey, I'm excited it wasn't one-sided.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, defense wins championships at every level. And we still, through injuries, don't have the whole piece of the puzzle out there, but we're going to have a really good pieces of the puzzle and some guys filling in some spots that I'm excited to see out there. And what we do up front and what we can do pressure-wise is really built to go against what they do.
Okay.
It's very much built for it. And it's funny because, Bobby came with me from there. They know what style of defense, they know what kind of pressure he'll bring and how it looks. And, their offensive coordinator there is probably one of Bobby's best friends on the planet. And they still are friends. And so it's like a great chess match going down between them.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to poke both sides. I called Jared yesterday. He was in class. Hey, stop watching Huddle and teach your kids. I'm calling your principal. So, just messing with them. But hey, going to be great high school football. This is what it's all about,
Absolutely.
man. This is what it's all about. And our kids are very well prepared. And like I said, they had a very good week of practice. It was really, really surprisingly physical the last 2 days, to the point where on Tuesday we actually ended a little bit early. And, one of the coaches was like, I'm glad we just did that because they were starting to get it was getting a little too much. And what I mean by that is where they are really, they're on each other and they're really going at it. I love it. I'm talking physical.
After 2 straight wins, that's a great sign to see in a practice.
Yes, it's not. They have not.
They're
rested.
hungry.
They've not rested on complacency.
I like it.
At all.
I like it.
And you can fall into that, but there's none of that. They're continually getting better. They're showing up on time. They're working hard, and I'm excited because I know offensively we've gotten better every single week. Every week there's something we're doing different. There's something we're doing better. And we've got some things, nestled in, tucked in. I stole that word from her. She used it in her thing. And they're like, try to get that word in there.
Good job.
So we've got nestled in, tucked in, some stuff in the offense that we'll run tomorrow that we haven't ran yet that we've been working on. And man, I'm just excited for how much better we're getting. And defensively, like I say, through injuries, we've had to shuffle so many. It's hard to get that rhythm.
Right.
But there's going to be a little rhythm tomorrow night because you saw it at practice this week. And I'll tell you, our D-line, Jiminy freaking crickets. Yesterday, on the film, we're watching our dudes just getting dunked. You know what I'm saying? When they decide to come, they're coming. So, I sure hope they decide to come a lot tomorrow night out there.
That's awesome.
But I'm excited. Like I say, our seniors, you only got so many of these.
Yeah.
And this is an important one going into the bye week. Next week, you want to end on a 3-game win streak. They're a top 10 ranked 5A team in the state. If you go to Max Preps, they're 3. In the sports writers, I think they're like 6 or 7, but they'll compete for the state championship. I said that last year. I said it leaving. I've never stopped saying it. They're a top 4 or 5A team in the state. So that's the beauty of it. Everybody we've played non-region, and what they are, they're a top 10 team.
Yes, that's
correct.
correct.
What they are. Marist has done nothing but continue to put 50 on everybody.
Right.
59, what was it, last week? On everybody. And, of course, Hillcrest Tuscaloosa is doing the same.
Yeah.
Doing the same. They went down to Florida and just dismantled a powerhouse down there, Armwood, which I didn't know they'd beat. And they dismantled it.
Yeah, we've had really stout competition.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So tomorrow will be no different whatsoever, Adam. And again, folks, leave early because you never know what you get behind on that road. You get behind a log truck. Leave early. That way you can get in early, get your seats. There'll be plenty of seating. It's a big home side. Visitor side, big cement stadium. And it's easy access once you get there. And so it's going to be fun.
Awesome. I think that's a great place for us to wrap it up this week. And you heard it from Coach. Be there early, leave early, get your tickets, GoFan. We're putting the link up for you right now. If for whatever reason you can't make it, and we need you to make it, we want Patriot Nation to show up, so make the drive and be there. But if for whatever reason you can't be there, the game will be broadcast on our Pike Road Live YouTube channel. So if you can't make it live in person, you can tune in live to support the Patriots tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eufaula. Coach, thanks again for another great Brantley Bank Coaches Show.
Thank you so much, brother.
And we'll be cheering you on tomorrow night. Go Patriots.
Go Patriots.